Right, hi guys, and welcome to the video. Those of you that have followed the channel for a while will know that we got together with Hannah from eBay. It was
just before Christmas, so it was in December, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we had a hangout then, and we said that moving forward we would try and do some live videos about different subjects within eBay. We actually reached out to the community and tried to get an idea of what topics you would like us to cover.
Yes, and obviously we can't cover all of those topics at once, so we've decided that we would try to break it down and do it over time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So firstly, how are you, Hannah?
Very well, thank you. It's nice to be back.
Yes. And who do you have with you?
I have Berengere, who works in our seller experience team.
Yes. So we thought it's actually quite timely, the subject that we've come up with to tackle first, because within the community, there's been a lot of people who struggled through January with sales. Sales generally dip anyway in January. You've got post-Christmas blues.
Yeah.
People have spent too much money at Christmas, etc. So the topic that we are going to talk about today are some of the tools within eBay that we can use to help to generate sales. And we have our expert with us today who's going to talk us through some of those tools. We are actually guilty of not using a lot of the tools that are available. So this is actually going to be interesting for us because some of these tools we haven't used and we're interested to learn about.
Yeah, and I think at least one of them I didn't know existed, so.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's good. I'll take that feedback to the marketing team.
Exactly. So yeah, if we hand over to you, how are we going to structure this?
Great. Okay, so if people haven't seen me before on your channel, my name's Hannah. So I work for eBay UK and I look after our YouTube channels for UK and also across Europe that is specifically about selling on eBay as a business seller. So I'm joined by Berengere, who's from our European seller experience team. So I think you can tell us a bit about what you do.
Yeah, hi everyone. Nice to meet you today. So I am Berengere. I'm working in the European seller experience team. One of the things that I'm doing and looking after is all the set of promotional tools that we give to sellers to help them increase their sales or to highlight a very good price that they are offering to the buyers.
And when we're talking about promotions here, what we're talking about is price promotions, price discounts. And I know sometimes people get mixed up between promotions and promote your listings, the advertising service. So we're not talking about that one today, but we are going to for a future video, aren't we, Nick?
Yes. Well, as you're aware, I've had some issues, shall we say, recently, which I made a video about. We've discussed that briefly, but yes, we are going to tackle that. And I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about that, myself included. So yeah, we're going to tackle that in the future, which will be interesting.
Right. So just going back to you for a moment, you said that you'd used some tools and not others. Which ones have you used already?
We've definitely used Best Offer. I use that all the time. In the past, I've used, when it was Markdown Manager, I've used that set a sale, but that was a few years back. So I haven't used that recently. And yeah, I'm just looking at it. The multi-buy we haven't used, but we're aware of it. The one I wasn't aware of is the order discount promotion.
Okay, cool.
How that works. And I know talking to some of my colleagues, they were a bit confused between the difference of multi-buy and the order discount promotion and what each one does and how they're different.
Okay, so I think what would be probably the best thing for us to do is go through each of them in turn and think about like some real life examples of when it might be a good idea to use each of those promotional tools. Because I think for you guys, you've got such a broad range of products that you're selling on eBay. There might be some that are better suited to some promotion types and others are better suited to others. And a lot of it comes down to what kind of seller you are, what sort of thing you're trying to achieve. Also, whether you've got an eBay shop, because some of the tools are only available to eBay shop subscribers, and it's one of the benefits of using that. And there's no additional fee for using the promotional tools. It's just really in the margin that you take as a discount. So yeah, I'll run you through each of the different things. Some of them are better for clearing individual items. So maybe things that have sat on the shelves for a while that you think, oh, I really need to get that one moving so I can make some space or free up some money. And then other ones are better for what we call increasing your basket size. So basically that is about getting people to buy more than one item at a time from you. So by getting people to buy maybe 2 or 3 smaller items that you can put into one box, and then you're only paying for one cost of postage, it can actually mean that you end up making more profit even by offering a small discount as an incentive for doing it. And there's also some other benefits around why you might want to run a price promotion rather than just discounting the price, because you might just think, well, I've been trying to sell it at $22.99. Why don't I just drop the price to $19.99? So a few things that it can help to do is when you've got a price promotion running, it brings a bit more attention to that on the listing. So it can increase the number of views that you get on the listing, and then also the number of watchers that you get on the listing. And of course, when you get the views, your listing starts to show up in recently viewed items and things like that. So the potential buyer starts to get more reminders about it than them just looking at it in the search results and saying, oh, well, that one.
Right.
Not what I'm
That's interesting, actually, because I've tended to, I do discount a lot of my stuff, but I tend to, when I relist it, I assess it there and then, and I will just manually relist it, you know, for a couple of pounds cheaper or £5 cheaper if it's something I want to clear. But I haven't tended to use these markdown things. And like you were saying, you get the little sale icon, don't you? Or and there was and is now price things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've never thought of it that way, that will actually generate sales because they can see it's discounted.
That makes sense.
Because the customer doesn't know I've marked it down if I just relist it cheaper.
I know. I do the same with clothes. I incrementally mark it down and I don't really use a sale as such.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's food for thought, actually.
Yeah. But for a while, we were actually relisting on a 10-day cycle, weren't we? Well, I'm not doing that so much now.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't really an option to set a sale.
Oh yeah, actually that's the point. Yeah, we'll get into the details of that actually.
Yeah, we'll get, because for things like that, the good till cancelled is going to work much better for it, so that your listing becomes eligible to go into a sale.
Yeah.
But before we get into all the promotional types, one thing I just want everyone to think about is making sure you can afford to give the discount. So for people who are reselling, making items, going to suppliers for stock, don't just think about what you've paid for the, I know this goes without saying, but don't just think about what you've paid for it. Think about postage costs, think about the cost of everything else that goes into it, eBay fees as well. Also, if you are running an ad campaign and things like that, just some people put together spreadsheets to calculate how much margin they can give away on a like a multi-buy promotion.
There is actually a margin calculator help on the Seller Center. So for multi-buy, if you go to the multi-buy Seller Center page, there is a spreadsheet that you can download. It's a basic margin calculator, but for the first step, it can actually be helpful to define what are the margin that you can give on each of the items.
See, I'm learning something new as well. But maybe we can link to that. Like it sounds like it'd be quite handy. So we thought, real life example, is there anything that you're either thinking about listing or you're listing at the moment that you're maybe not sure 100% what it's going to sell for, but you don't want to put it on auction? Yes,
I thought about this, and it's an item that has considerable value as well. Can you grab it? I know it's quite heavy. It's a lovely item. It's the sort of item, we're talking about best offer now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This I think is perfect for that, because I know it has value, but I can't find another one that's the same as this. So I'm going to aim high. And this is, can you see it?
Wow.
Really nice example. And I know it has considerable value. We're into the hundreds on this. But I've not seen it in this color and this particular design. So I'm going to aim beyond what I've seen similar ones go for, but then have the best offer on. So if a reasonable offer comes in, I can consider it. I don't want to put it on auction because I don't quite know where to start it. I wouldn't want to start it low and then build up in case of very little interest, because it's quite obscure really, and you're not going to get many people who want it. So I don't think it's a good item for an auction. But this is the sort of thing I would tend to aim really high on and put the best offer option and just see what happens, see what offers come in.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right that best offer is probably the one for that, because, well, firstly, you don't have two of them, so multi-buy is not going to work.
No.
But yeah, I think best offer is a good one because it shows what you believe it's worth, but also shows that you're open to negotiation. And I think what's nice about best offer, I use best offer all the time when I'm selling things, is it can just get that conversation started. There are sometimes people don't use best offer because they think, oh, it's going to be loads of work, or I get silly offers from people like it's on for £100 and someone offered me 25. I don't want to take that. Maybe people find it insulting, but I think we've all been doing that ourselves as buyers. We can all put a cheeky offer in from time to time.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. That's a common complaint about best offer. And we always answer that with, well, you can set auto decline anyway. If you really don't want to hear them or see the £1 offer on a £20 item, just you can say auto accept and auto decline offers. So you don't even have to look at them. I
use the auto decline all the time because I just don't have the time for, I don't want it in my psyche either, you know, when you've got something on for like £30 and someone offers you £2, you just think it's ridiculous. I don't have the time for that.
I don't I like it. I like to come back with an offer.
I set the auto decline for the lowest that I would accept for it.
No. Yeah. I don't auto decline. The cheap ones come in and then I reply with a really high one, and sometimes we still meet in the middle.
It's just different ways of doing it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think everybody's got a different view on this, and because people are selling so many different things, if you've got a lot of items that you've got best offer on and they're all sort of similar value and you know what you want, then setting the rules around it, I think, can make a lot of sense, just to minimize the amount of admin that you do. But for other items, hey, somebody's like tapping you on the shoulder and saying, hey, I'm interested, let's talk. And you've got the opportunity to counter offer as well. And I think what's nice about the best offer tool is that you don't need to have a shop to use it. There's no extra fee for using it, and actually the final value fees adjust automatically in line with what it sells for anyway. So yeah, might as well
exactly
on there.
I just wanted to add as well that the item that Nick shows exactly kind of really the sweet spot for best offer, relatively high item price that we know, but something that where it might be hard to define exactly what is the price that we are ready to offer, and it's depend a lot of your own attitude. Do you want to wait or not for that buyer that will come with on that price, or engage in a conversation? So it's also about attitude in terms of am I ready to offer or to negotiate on this item. But when we looked at research, we actually are surprised by the amount of transactions that are going on best offer. It's a very wide used tool at eBay, and that can actually drive value for both buyers and sellers.
Yeah, we certainly use it a lot now. One thing I've seen a couple of times in our experience is sometimes the buyers get confused and they think they're making a bid. I don't know if you've heard of this. We've certainly had an offer beyond the price of the item.
Okay.
Because they're getting confused with an auction and best offer. So they're thinking, and we've heard stories from other people that somebody is offered quite considerably above the set price because they think they're putting their maximum bid in. And they're not understanding the tools. So I don't know if you've heard about that, but that happens.
And also quite often, well, say quite often, but there have been cases of buyers then not paying because they don't realize that when they've made an offer and we've accepted, that it's actually binding,
Yeah.
and they've actually purchased that item. So they're not realizing that. We've noticed.
Okay, so best offer, you're already using that one.
Yep.
Is there anything that you've got that you've been trying to sell for a while, but you just want to clear? Maybe one of those items that you were thinking, when I relist it, I'm going to adjust the price down a little bit.
You had a couple, didn't you?
Oh yes, we're talking about marking down now.
And I've got some.
Yeah, I've got a couple of items that I listed with a Christmas market in mind, just like Disney plushes and mugs.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of thing that I would mark down now and try to shift, because obviously it's not the right time of the year to be selling gifty things. So
yeah, and we didn't manage to shift this. These are quite expensive, our generation dolls, and that didn't go. So I have actually marked this down myself, but I did it my normal way, which is the most basic way. When I relisted it, I just took a chunk off the price.
Yeah.
But I think this, because it's quite high value, might benefit from having some sort of visual on the listing to show that it has been marked down. But yeah, can't get rid of this for some reason.
Well, I think that one's perfect for the sale event and markdown.
Totally.
And as we've said earlier on, you're going to get the kind of was now price showing on the search results page, on the listing for definite. The one on the search results page, there are no rules around that one, are there?
There is two things. There is the strike through in itself, so there was no price, will be on SRP in any case.
SRP is search results page.
Sorry. And so the fact that there was no price will be on the search result page. The little tag that says 5% off or 20% off as a sale event might be there or might not be there depending on the algorithm criteria, like for an order discount. So what it means is that the main benefit of a markdown is really the fact of highlighting the fact that it is a markdown. And to do that, it's really it's really by not relisting with a lower price, but by actually setting up the new listing with the markdown. One thing I need to tell you here, markdowns are regulated. And so we cannot claim a was price that has not been price established. And this price establishment period is at least 14 days, which means that if actually you relist items on less than 14 days, you will never be able to do a markdown.
Right.
Yeah. So the advice that we say here is that GTC listing are then even of course better, because then we have the sale history and we can look at this on this, and then you can either plan ahead and just thinking, okay, I will leave it for 14 days at one price, then I know I have a window where I can lower the price for 14 days and then it goes back up. So that's the plan ahead strategy. You can also work backwards and thinking about, okay, what are my items today? How long have they been at that price for? And the one that have been for more than 14 days at the same price, you know that this is the one that you can apply the markdown on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So for my 10-day listings, this is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to work better for things that are either on a 30-day or good till cancelled. But good till cancelled is really better for this.
Yes.
Yeah. I've started actually considering the idea of running sales for clothing. So I have actually started listing things on a 30-day cycle.
Right.
So yeah, just to get that idea, and things that aren't selling, mark them down after 14, 15 days.
Yeah, I think that's actually a very good move, because the other advantage of sale event is that items that are marked on at the same time together, then they are grouped into a sale event page. And that is where sale event plus markdown is better than Markdown Manager was, because it's actually creates this space and these pages where things that are from the same sellers marked on at the same time are put together and presented to the buyer. So on mobile, I don't know if you've seen that. On mobile, it's a little link actually that is just below the buy box. And on this one, you have access to same items not same items, other items from the same seller that are in the same sale. So it's a way to both encourage buyers to buy that and also to increase your basket size at the same time.
Yeah.
I had no idea that was. Excuse me.
If Andrea, you were doing, say, I don't know, a sale on your winter fashion, you could create a sale event, add all the listings that you want to mark down in that sale event. And then I don't know if you've noticed it on other people's listings, when you actually go on to the items page, above the picture, there's a message and it'll say, see all eligible items. And you click through to that, and that's the page where everything in your like winter fashion sale is shown together. So you could have a mixture of coats, hats, scarves, jumpers, all sorts of things like that. And then the price is discounted on each one individually. There's just a few more rules around this. You have to have an eBay shop to do this one. Also, you can't do it on things that you've changed parts of the listing on. So if you had changed the price, even by a penny, it kind of resets the clock and starts 14 days from that. Also, things like changing the postage options. So if you were going to go through and change from a paid service to a free shipping or adding another postal service, that's going to reset the clock. Also, changes to features like the title, and that's really to avoid people listing a really expensive item on the listing as one thing, then going back in, editing it, turning it into something completely different and saying, was £600 now £5, which we just want to avoid that sort of thing happening. And the reason that we do this is to make sure that everyone who is using this tool is following regulation and is playing by the rules.
Yeah, makes sense.
So it doesn't matter which shop you have, any of the shops mean you're eligible for this. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, totally. And there is no limit on the number of items that you can put into you can do that on a lot of different sales. Actually.
Okay. I think that's something you'll certainly experiment with.
It is something
I'm not sure, unless I change the length of a lot of my listings, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
There is another thing that will prevent this tool being available on a listing, and that's sometimes where people use either a third-party software or some custom software that they've designed themselves to send information to eBay. Now, if that information is being resent every night and is refreshing the listing kind of every night, it's looked at as a change to the listing, even if nothing has changed. So if anybody's ever finding, hang on, I'm using this tool to list, why are my items never showing a sale? That's probably the reason why.
And there is a way to check it actually on the item, in the item description, there is a link which is see all revision. And this is when we looked at the revision here, that's the way to actually know if there is something that have happened in this 14 days period that is preventing the listing for doing it. We know this is the pain point we're hearing from sellers in terms of, okay, well, I don't understand why this is coming. My advice would be to try to think, plan ahead or plan backwards, as I said, and go back to this revision list if really you feel I don't understand why this items has not been picked up by the Markdown mechanism.
Oh, and the other thing is, you talk about planning ahead, planning backwards. If you've got listings that you think, I know I want to mark that down, but I only created it last week, you can still add it to a sale event, but the markdown will only kick in after the 14 days has passed.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
That's handy, actually. Cool.
Yeah, could be actually a way to do it on 13 days. For listings that are on 13 days, you can plan ahead the markdowns for the last 14 days of the listing.
Oh, for a 30-day listing.
Yeah, for a 30 days listing. So it's actually
that's great. That's a good idea.
So there's a few things you can sort of play around with on that. We do have a tutorial video on how to set it up that's on our channel. And that it only takes about 2 minutes to watch through what the process is to set it up.
Yeah, well, we can link to those if we get links to those tutorials. If people want to go through,
we can put them in the
we
description
can put those below, which would be handy.
Right.
Cool.
So those are the two things that we would suggest for things that are individual units. You just want to either offer a price on a markdown or be open to best offer. So the ones that are to do with increasing basket size, so getting people to buy more than one item from you, there's two different tools you can use. One's called order discount and the other one is called multi-buy. But there's different scenarios that you might use them on. So
maybe I can start by that actually, to tell the difference between order discount and multi-buy.
We can.
Okay, because that was the question coming from Andrea. So order discount has been there for the last 2-3 years, so it's older, and multi-buy is the new shiny one. And order discount is actually the easiest way to see it is that order discount is to cross-sell. That means is to give the buyer a visibility of other items that could be interesting for them, while a multi-buy is to upsell. So it's to actually increase the number of units of the same item to the same buyer. They are a bit different in terms of the shopping experience. You mean that how the buyer sees it, and I can go back in details about it. They are relying on the same mechanism though, which is to give a discount based on an order size, a number of units, or a threshold, which the sellers will do. And then there is a set of items. So in terms of multi-buy, it could be one, or it could be a few of them, or even all of your inventory. And in terms of the order discount, it's the items that you want to put together as the part of the sale.
And I think the thing that's nice about both of these tools is that the item price still stays the item price for one unit. So it's a conditional offer. People have to put the number of items into their basket that you've said you'll give a discount on. So this is the thing that buyers will need to add the items to their basket and check out together to get the discount to trigger on it. Otherwise, if they just do buy it now on each of them, you're going to get maybe 3 separate orders coming through, and they've potentially paid 3 sets of postage on it as well.
Right. So it's the equivalent of going into a supermarket, and it's the sort of buy 2 get 1 free equivalent.
Exactly. So if we talk about the order discount first, this one, as Berengere said, it's kind of good for cross-selling things. So it can work if you've got a load of merchandise themed around the same movie, or you've got collectible items that people might buy together. Have you got anything like that you're selling at the moment that might be good for order discount?
Well, the one thing I thought, I don't have many left. I used to sell lots and lots of these, which is trading cards from the same game. I used to deal a lot more in this. And I do get used to get a lot of people that would come in and pick a bunch of different cards. And I think this would, and I've seen other sellers of cards using this sort of tool because it would encourage them to buy more. Because I think what this does is it makes you think, well, I'm buying this anyway. If I buy another couple, I might as well buy it now because I get this discount. And I think for me, that would have worked. Like I say, I've sold through most of my stock now, but buying cards within the same game, I think would work really well with this. But yeah, I've cleared most of my stock now, so it's a bit late.
Have to go out and look for a cards haul somewhere.
I'll get more, don't worry.
And actually, when you think about even the big retailers on eBay or off eBay, they use the same thing as order discounts a lot. So I'm thinking of the toys that we were talking a little bit. Like big retailers are offering discounts when you buy more than one toy at the same time. So that is where we are going with this, and to try to encourage actually people to also buy now things that they could buy at different point in time, and that works both for order discount and multi-buy actually.
Yeah. But I think if we just talk about the order discount for now, so the kind of offers that you can do with order discount, they're really customizable. So you can do it based on the number of items that people are buying, or the amount that people are spending. So you could do something like buy 3, get the 4th 50% off, because you can then customize what the discount is as well. So it might be buy 3, get 1 free, get the 4th free, or it might be buy 3, get 50% off the 4th, or it might be buy 3 and get £10 off the 4th. And you can do it on the amount that they spend. So spend £25 and get 5% off, and they can add multiple items into the basket to do that. So it's really customizable.
Yeah, I didn't know you could customize it to that degree at all, because I've not played around with this. So that's, okay. That's food for thought, actually.
Yeah, definitely. I think that might be something I'll play with as well.
Yeah, because that might even apply quite well to the car parts. Because we've had a few orders where people, when they're servicing their car, if you don't know, I bought out a Hyundai dealership's worth of car parts, so we have a few thousand of them. And what we've found is some buyers will, when they service their car, they want an air filter, a fuel filter, and wiper blades or whatever. And if they knew they could come to me and get a multi-buy discount, then that would be really attractive. We've had a number of those orders where people have actually ended up paying quite a lot of money, because I have postage built into all of those as well. People still buy it, but I think it would be more attractive if they thought they would get a discount if they bought all of their items, consumables in one go. So I might look at that actually.
Yeah, and just in case people get confused, because I know it can get a little bit tricky with the terminology. The multi-buy feature is the one that is buy 3 of the same thing and get a discount, and the order discount, which people often talk about as doing a multi-buy deal, can be either of the same thing, or it can be a mixture of items that they're adding to their basket.
Oh, right. So the one we're talking about now is for different items.
Order discount,
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, right.
But they could, in theory, like if you were saying spend, I don't know, £30 on car parts, buy several of the same thing to get up to that £30 threshold.
Right, yes. Okay, that does make sense. It does get confusing very quickly.
Now, this one it's for shop subscribers of any level. So if you don't have a shop subscription, you don't get this. Also, they're in some cases where the listing is eligible, you get the flash showing on the search results page. It's not every listing that does it. So if it doesn't show, it's not a bug. It's just that listing isn't eligible for it. And the eligibility criteria is quite complex. It's based on all sorts of things, like sales history, likelihood to sell, whether people have bought, have actually triggered that promotion in the past.
Yeah, totally. I think the easiest way or simple way to think is that to keep actually the message relevant to the buyer, we needed to actually filter out a number of offers that were not attractive to them. So what we have today is that you always have what is offered is shown. On mobile, it's always shown in the same place, and it's consistent. On desktop, it's shown at the bottom of the screen in all cases. And what you have on top is that for the best offer, they are actually they are given more visibility on the view item page, so on the item page and on search result page.
And I think one more tip that I would give for using order discount is that when people are new to it, they often check the box that's to include all inventory, so all of your listings in it. And that can work fine if you are a really, really niche seller. But if you've got any variety in the categories that you're listing in, or the price range that you're listing in, it works much better to do smaller order discount promotions that will be like we talked about with like winter fashion. Otherwise, if you did all inventory, you could be having spend £40 and get 5% off, and the page that shows all the eligible items will have an accordion, if you included that in there, a dress, an air filter, a board game, which just looks a bit confusing. If you want to cross-sell and mix and match, make the offer tight, and you can run as many order discount promotions as you want at any time. So just set up subsets that work well together.
It makes sense to me that you would target a category at a time. Like, for example, like with the trading cards, that would be perfect for that.
And then you know the margin that you can afford to give on that, and you don't end up saying, oh, you'll save 20%, and you think, hang on, crikey, I'm only making 15% on that item. What have I done?
Exactly. And 20% on a couple of £100 item is a big decision to make. So okay.
So anything else on that order discount type? Any more questions on that one?
No, I haven't got any questions.
That makes sense.
That was the one I didn't know existed, so I'm very enlightened now, and I think I'll go and have a play with that. Because I did really get confused. I thought multi-buy was what you've just described. So I was actually selecting multi-buy on the bottom of my listings, thinking that it was going to set a promotion across my clothing.
Right.
But obviously it wasn't. So now I've learned.
With the order discount, when you go into Seller Hub and you've got all the different tabs along the top, you go to the marketing tab for this one, and I think it's labeled promotions, isn't it? So you go into promotions and then you can set it up from there. But again, we've got a tutorial video that I can share with you, so we can put the link in the description.
Actually, all the tools that we have discussed together, Sell Event plus Markdown, multi-buy, order discount, they're all accessible from the same marketing tab. Promotion in Seller Hub, which is also one we refer to them as Seller Hub promotion. So if you receive communication from us about Seller Hub promotion, this is order discount, sell event, and multi-buy. Cool.
So multi-buy. This is one that's good for selling multiple units of the exact same item. So have you got anything like that you're selling?
I couldn't really think, apart from going back to what I mentioned before with car parks, but I don't know how relevant that is really. We have had some buyers who have bought multiples of the same filter. I think planning ahead. So it might work for that. But most of what I sell is random odd items. Sometimes we get new stock and we have multiples of that, but it doesn't really apply to a lot of what we do.
No, most of what we have is one-off, isn't it?
And most of what we sell is second-hand, apart from these car parts, for example. So I couldn't think of many examples where that would particularly work for us.
There was one thing that I thought of that you're listing at the moment that was wiper blades. So in that sort of situation, people might be tempted to buy one set for now that they need to replace, and then think, you know what, I don't want to have to go shopping again next time I need to replace the wiper blades. I can get some more. So it can work pretty well for things that are either consumable, so like printer cartridges, reams of paper, things like that.
I suppose the thought is that it puts that thought in someone's head, doesn't it? That if the offer is there, you think, well, I know I'm going to need another set in 6 months anyway. So it's encouraging someone to spend more effectively, isn't it?
Well, it's the same as if you're going Boots and you think, I need shampoo, and then they say, you could buy 3 and get 1 free, and you think, oh, go on then, I use it all the time anyway, I might as well just put it in the cupboard. It's the same sort of thought.
And even on fashion basics like white t-shirts, undies, things like that. Once you know something that fits, and you can have several of them in your drawer, you might as well put a few more into the basket and buy them together.
And the main difference between multi-buy and order discount here is that actually there is a very specific shopping experience for it. You may have seen it already, which means that on the view item page for a multi-buy, you have these boxes, which is by 1, by 2, by 3, which are actually kind of like magnets in terms of for the mouse to actually increase the order, well, the size of the order. And this is only available on multi-buy. And it's better. We know that it's better for buyer than having to edit, you know, the number, the quantity on the listing. On mobile, it works well as well. There is also this button that you can touch. So it is why actually multi-buy is probably the most convenient from a buyer perspective on all of the promotions that we talked about, to increase the order size, because they don't have to look for an item, and that's the main friction that we see with auto discounts, that you have to look for this second item so much. So if you are in the browsing mode and you want just to discover nice things, of course you will do it, and that's why it's interesting. But more convenience mission shopping, I just want this nappy, I just want this pot of paint, or I just want this parts and accessories, multi-buy works very well, actually.
It's really prominent on there.
Yeah, it's that. So if you think that to say on multi-buy, so it's shop subscription is needed, like for the other seller promotion. It's for listings that have multi-quantity. So if you have a quantity of 1, you can't offer a multi-buy on. It will not work. We have, so at the moment it doesn't work very well for variation listings, so listings that have variation like size of colors. We are working on this to actually improve this, because we want multi-buy to be able to work with variation.
Oh, and there's another one, isn't there, that someone messaged us about, because they said, hang on, this looks a bit weird on my listing.
Okay.
And they had a multi-pack that they put on multi-buy. And so it was a multi-pack of, I think, 6 plates. And then when they put it on multi-buy, there was a price for 3 multi-packs, but it looked to the buyer as though it was a price for 3 individual plates. So,
you're not
there, you had to see it.
So it works better probably if you have 1 item, or if it is very clear in your picture or in your title that it is a set of 3, and then it's 2 sets of 3, so 6 items in total.
Yeah.
So 3 multi-packs,
three multi-packs,
not 3 plates.
3 plates. But overall, other than that, since the launch, we have seen actually quite a rapid adoption from sellers. We've seen buyers also engage with it, and it's one of the things that we have. We've been shouting with sellers about it, because we really see that both the sellers and the buyers are engaging with it and finding useful.
It's going to seem like we're doing a mega sales pitch on this one, but the reality is that everybody's telling us it's working really well for them.
So. The point is, it's tools, and I said at the beginning, we are guilty of being kind of stuck in our ways and not using these, not having the time to research and look into it. But the point is that they're there to generate sales for us.
Yes.
And we are very guilty of not maximizing the tools that are on offer, because it's not going to cost us any more to use these tools. That's the point here, I think.
Yeah.
They're free for us to use, and they're available for us to use if we have a shop, which we do. So we really need to experiment with this and actually get the benefit from it.
I definitely will be.
So yeah.
Well, let us know how you get on, and if you do have any more questions about setting it up, then we can certainly help you out on that.
Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. And if people watching this have specific questions, feel free to drop those in the comments below, and hopefully you might be able to take a look at those. And if you've had any experience using these, any of these things we've covered in this that work particularly well for you, let me know below. That would be interesting for us to read back on. Anything that you don't think particularly works or could be improved, just put them in the comments below and we can read those.
We're very open to getting honest feedback, because we want these tools to work as well as they possibly can for you, because it's in our interest to make sure that every seller is as successful as you can be.
Actually, there is a feedback link on Seller Hub marketing tab.
Okay.
And I can tell you, this is going right into the developer's mailbox. So we are reading this, and that's one of the source of information that we know, and one of the source of the improvement that we are putting on all the time on this promotion.
Okay, you heard it here. So feedback is read and feedback will be actioned. So there we go. Fantastic.
But don't use that as a feedback link on everything related to it. It needs to be to do with that tool.
It's okay.
And I think that's a lot of tips in there.
Yeah.
Probably quite overwhelming if you're brand new to using these kind of tools. But maybe replay it a few times.
Well, and also use the links below. We will try and get those links from yourself, Hannah, to the videos that go into these individually and break it down. So that might be an easier way. If you think one of these topics would help you out, then find the link below and go through and research it that way.
Yeah, but it's been enlightening for me today. So hopefully it has been for other people.
I sense you're quite keen to go and set up a sale or something.
That's what I'll be doing today.
Yeah. Well, thank you both for spending the time, and I hope we get some feedback from the viewers on what they thought and which of these they use and they find useful.
Great. Okay. Pleasure to be here.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Right, so we'll wrap this one up.
Yes.
Like I say, please comment below. Let us know if you enjoyed the video. Give us some feedback.
Yeah, we're talking about perhaps next month talking about promoted listings, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Maybe our next one.
Yes, that will likely be the next one. I have a lot of questions and concerns about that, so that will be interesting.
Or send them to me in advance so we can get you all the answers.
Yes. Okay, so we'll wrap that one up there. Thank you so much for spending the time with us, and we'll speak to you soon.
Yeah.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.